What's up, what's up, what's up?
The pod chat. Well, we'll talk about it later.
All right. Can you hear that? All right. Whoa. You guys good?
Good. You need it down or up?
You need it down?
He's two.
There?
Yeah.
All right. Whoa. Oh, electric. That's right. Welcome to the Couch Live here on WJHM102gems.com and Rock100DIZ.com, and of course the Problem Solving Network. Hello, everybody. A little this and a little that, huh?
Yes, sir.
Oh, wait. You guys can't talk until I do this. Now talk.
Hello?
All right. I'm the street certified dope Dr. Louis Delgado, along with my cast of friends here. Of course, we have the Dharma guy, Trinity Phillips.
What's going on?
Hello. And then our intern, Robbie. Hello, Robbie.
Hey, what's up, Louis?
Robbie Barrett.
It's going to be the professor.
The professor, huh?
It's going to be the professor.
He's trying to earn it. We'll see if he earns that. That sounds like a really good nickname to me.
I wouldn't mind having that name. Well,
I know. We need to get him a nickname.
I'll go with it.
You know. I don't know how we got lucky. We have nicknames we like.
Right.
But you can't give an intern a name he likes. It's an intern.
Sure you can.
Anyway, hello everybody. Join us on Facebook Live. Of course, if you want to join us on Facebook Live, go to facebook.com/thecouchlive and you can like us and follow us there and you can watch it. I see Marissa's on there. Hello, Marissa. And he had some other friends on there. I can't really see who's all on there. It's kind of far away from me. But, what? Can you see it?
No.
You can't see it. It's smaller. It's smaller than you. Hello, Elsa. How you doing? All right. So we're here talking today. It's a beautiful Friday, as always. The kids are now out of school. My kids are all out of school.
Almost.
Happy summer, everyone.
Mine will be out on Wednesday.
All that means is more expenses.
Yeah.
That's all it means. Because now, I swear, Zoe just wants to go to the beach every day. I want to go to the beach. She went to... Dude, we celebrated yesterday. Here's... We'll do this and then we'll get into the show. We will talk about addiction and recovery. I swear we will.
There we
get
go.
this off.
I feel a rant coming.
A rant. I gotta have a little daddy rant. There's gotta be a daddy rant. Got a little bit daddy rant. Every parent out there knows. You understand this. All right, so... One more day of school, right? So we're talking yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
There's one more day of school. Finals.
Sure.
Today was finals day, right? One more final. And it's a math final.
Oh.
So that's important, right?
Yeah.
I'm not being unreasonable. So my youngest, that does very well in school, and we give a lot of leeway to our kids because they do well in school. If they didn't do well in school, then you pull back, right?
Right.
But since they do well, you let them do things. So my youngest Zoe goes, I'm going to go to the beach at 11 o'clock during the school day because once you finish your test, you can leave campus. Yeah.
That's new.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Right.
I never had that.
I wish I had
I had
that.
a ditch to get that privilege.
Yeah.
So anyway, take her to the beach at 11 o'clock. She stays there all day till like 6:30, then we do a movie. Now she wants to do a movie that night. I'm thinking, don't you have a test tomorrow?
Oh.
Don't you have a test? And she goes, it's an easy one. I'm thinking it's like PE because she's acting like it's so easy. I said, well, what? How easy? What is it? She goes, math. I said, what? How is that easy? She goes, Dad, I got this. Don't worry. I'm thinking, you. After going to the beach, I said, all right, I'm going to let you do this. You're going to go to the beach, and I'm going to let you go to the movies. And then, you get home, 8, 9 o'clock at night? On a school night with a final? I said, you better get an A on that test. And she goes, an A? And I said, yeah. She goes, okay. I just got a phone call right now. Right now. I got it right before the show. Because her school today ended at 9 a.m. I picked her up like at 9 a.m. It was done. Did her final. She sends me a text and says, I got to tell you something. So I just called her right now before going on the air. What do you think she got on the test?
92.
100.
A 100!
Yeah.
100? Freaking 100 on a test that she didn't even study for.
Are you kidding me? What math was this?
No, who'd she cheat off of? No, not really. I don't know.
I can't say
it's hard stuff, too.
Is this like
math.
algebra or calculus?
Yeah, no, it's higher. It's math that I can't even do anymore.
Oh,
I only went up to algebra and geometry. I think she's already, past that as a freshman. I think she's in geometry already.
I can't say too much, man, because I was that guy.
You're that guy?
I was that guy.
100!
I had a straight A's the whole thing. I never got anything less than that.
Dang,
This is
Trinity.
ridiculous. 100 on a test after you hung out at the beach all day and went to the movies at night. Anyway, congratulations, Zoe.
Yeah, good job.
Congratulations, Zoe.
But
Proud of you.
I was that guy. And not only that, but I would miss a lot of school, too. I missed so much school they used to send letters home saying if I didn't pass the exams, I would fail the grade.
Right.
But I always got 100 on the exams anyway, so
Ridiculous.
it didn't really matter.
I don't know how you did that. I didn't get hundreds. I got C's. I was Mr. Average. Number 5, remember? 5 alive. Average.
I got hundreds in botany this semester.
In botany.
In botany, yeah, field botany.
That's
What'd you grow?
We didn't grow anything, but we did go to the Everglades and looked at plants, all sorts of stuff.
Well, that's cool.
Botany.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's random. I didn't even know you were into botany.
Yeah, it's a hidden talent that not a lot of people know. I'm actually doing research on plants this summer, so
Wow.
straying from the addiction field a little bit.
Well,
Not so much.
Most
Not
people-
those kind of, not those plants.
So our
Opium.
intern wants to be a grower. Is that what we're hearing?
No,
He's growing wheat and opium.
He's getting his nickname. It's getting closer.
Yeah.
no.
It's getting closer. Green Acres.
Green acres.
Anyway.
Nice.
All right. So anyway, so that was the stray. Anyway, back to addiction and recovery. We got our new intern, like we said. So if you didn't listen to last week's show, you didn't meet Robbie. That's Robbie Barrett. He's from Rollins College, and he's our new intern here with the Now Matters More Foundation and the Couch Live. So we've given him a few tasks. You know, he's one of these smart guys, and he's very well educated in the what would you say, the brain and the genetics of addiction. Is that how you would say it? How would you say it? How would you describe your interests?
I would just say kind of biology, but yeah, and
Well, see, I think frogs.
no, well, the biology of addiction, I would say then. That makes more
Okay.
sense.
I didn't know there was biology of addiction, so.
Well,
Yeah, genetics
I
is
knew there was
biology.
genetics, yeah, but just the term. I agree with him. When I hear biology, I think of like dissecting frogs. And
that's
stuff.
it. That's all I think about.
That's a shame. There's
Really?
there's a lot more to it, but yeah.
But I love that class.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Biology was cool until you hit college, and you're like, "What? That's a lab?"
Yeah.
Biology got really hard in
Yeah.
college.
It's even harder now.
It was like, whoa, that changed.
Yeah.
Biology was always fun. It was always taught by like a coach, you know, and somebody.
In middle school, maybe.
Right, and then all of a sudden you're in college, and it's taught by some guy who wants you to come after your regular class to go do a lab, and then your lab is very involved, and it's not in groups; it's all by yourself. Well, the
Yeah.
groups,
Wow.
you know, always let you kind of like, you know the deal. Anyway, I just wanted to burn something on the Bunsen burner, or cut something up and put pins in it or something.
Yeah. Don't burn the frogs, Louis.
Yeah, the burning the frogs doesn't work. It just doesn't cook them to a good, because there's formaldehyde on them.
Yeah.
Very flammable.
You can't cook that off.
No, can't cook the formaldehyde off. Very flammable in that room. Be very careful what you do in that room. Anyway, so we had you look up some things,
Yeah.
right? So what's in the news, Robbie? What's out there that we gotta talk about?
So
Enlighten us.
yeah, so one thing that we were just talking about that I've seen all over the news yesterday and even this morning were there's two counselors that were in Pennsylvania that overdosed on a combination of heroin and fentanyl, and there was 8 patients in the halfway home that they were owning at the time. So
All right, let's slow down. What state?
this is Pennsylvania,
What part of Pennsylvania?
southeastern Pennsylvania.
Southeastern. So what's southeastern? Trinity? Isn't that Philly? Southeast is Philly.
I think so. I'm not.
That's where I'm
I'm
from.
not from
So I was born.
Well, I don't think it might be near Philly. I'm not exactly sure.
Well, southeast, that's closer to New York
Yep.
and closer to Jersey and all that, which would be Philly. Close to Philly.
Okay.
But it must not be Philadelphia because it would have said Philadelphia.
Yeah, it was some town that I've never heard of.
All right. But it wasn't Amish town? It wasn't like Lancaster?
No, all I know is that the place is called Freedom Ridge Recovery Lounge, and that's the halfway
Okay.
house it happened at.
All right, so what happened? These were employers? Employees?
Yeah, no, these were the people that owned the halfay house.
Oh,
that,
jeez.
yeah.
Oh, jeez.
That-
All right.
Yeah, they own the halfway house, and they also function as counselors in their space, I guess. And there were either six or eight people in the halfway house at the time that were living there, and I mean, it's up to speculation if they were staying sober, if the counselors overdosed. But I saw a lot of negative blowback on different
Of
media
course.
things that these people weren't fit to.
Wow.
I did find it. I didn't find the actual location yet, but the first line on the one I just found says 2 staffers at an unlicensed Pennsylvania
Wow.
recovery home for drug addicts trying to kick their habits died on the same night from the same thing.
Yeah, and they tried to give one of them intranasal naloxone spray, and it didn't revive him. And I don't know about the other one.
Because of fentanyl. They probably needed to do it like twice.
Yeah.
Well, they were only 33 and 24.
Wow, man.
So you know.
Well, heart goes out to them regardless.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, who's to say whether that was the first time? I mean, we don't know the story. So we don't know if they had already relapsed prior to that, if it was a bad home, a good home. But my heart goes out to them regardless because no matter what the situation was, obviously the disease of addiction, claimed a victory.
Yeah. them and their families for sure.
Yeah, that's horrible, man. And then what happens to the other people living in the home?
That's a really good question. I didn't really see anything about the other people that were living there.
Did it say who found them or anything like that?
Let's see. Anything, Trinity?
Well, what I'm looking at here says they weren't really counselors; they were just staff members.
No, definitely weren't real counselors.
Okay.
Yeah, they weren't counselors. The thing was they had keys to the meds though, so that's why somebody referred to them as counselors. But I think they were just techs basically. That's what it sounds like.
Oh yeah, techs, staffers.
Well, let's be real straight. For anybody out there that uses halfway houses or sober living houses, these places are not typically a therapy. There's not therapy going on there, and so the word counselor is also used kind of loosely.
Yeah.
Because there are people that are certified, state certified or whatever as counselors, and there's people that aren't, that use the term counselor because they have a position of authority, and they do more like a glorified AA or a glorified NA meeting.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so they consider themselves counselor. But when you go to a sober living environment, it's typically after at least a minimum of a 30-day treatment at a facility, and then you go there for continued care, much like you would go to Lean In Recovery is a great place I can think of in Cleveland, that even though they're not therapists, they are building an IOP, by the way. Even though they're not therapists there at the sober living house, they live there, they do group sessions, but it's more like a self-help type of group session, like a glorified A or NA meeting. They can be very effective, just not using the term counselor or therapist or anything like that.
Yeah.
Look, Laura look at Argentina watching. Hello, Argentina.
Wow, hey Laura.
Don't cry for me.
I love Argentina. So
I
got it. Yeah.
I got it. I just didn't think it was funny.
What's the movie?
No, I was kidding. It's Madonna.
Yeah.
It's a one word. It's the LV or I'm thinking LV like the intern. It was the intern. I know. It's something like that though.
Yeah.
Elvira or something.
I can't name it, so.
Anyway, so you didn't know, but it is Madonna, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
She played the character. Anyway, so what's the next thing? What's the next story that you got?
Yeah.
That's a bad story. You start off with a sad tragedy.
Yeah, that's a sad tragedy. We'll get into some.
Okay.
I guess happy stuff now.
Okay, get into some other
before we do that, let me just say then that just a comment on that. I know that there's going to be a lot going on where people kind of hold them to higher standards because they're working in industry and they're techs and things of that nature.
Right.
I think that goes to show that how impactful the disease really is, though.
Yeah.
I think it goes to show, and to put a positive spin, I guess, in theory, it's not. I don't look at that as two people who are being irresponsible and messing up.
Right.
I look at it as two people who give you proof that you're never really done fighting.
Right.
Like you gotta continue to do something every day.
Yeah.
Because even if you've had years and years of sobriety and you're working in the field, you can still be overcome with it.
Right.
I'm sure these people were role models for the people.
Sure.
People in I was gonna say inmates, but they're not inmates. They're just.
Wow. Take it to a whole other level.
That's terrible. But yeah, to the residents.
You feel like an inmate here. You feel imprisoned by that disease of addiction. Trust me.
Yeah.
You feel like an inmate.
That's true.
More like a convict. Forget inmate. Inmate sounds like you're. It just. I don't even know. I never liked the word inmate.
No, I don't like it.
Convict at least sounds cool. I don't know why it sounds cool to me, but it sounds a lot better than inmate. Inmate just sounds. I guess because it sounds like something they tell you. You're an inmate.
You can call me whatever you want as long as I'm not in jail.
Yeah, that's true.
Call me
That's
whatever
true.
you want.
That's true. I never said I wanted to be a convict. I just said
Defendant.
Just said that sounds weird. Defendant just sounds like I need an attorney.
Yeah.
Sounds like I'm calling for my brother. Jimmy, help me. That doesn't sound good. Anyway.
All right. So what's the next story?
What's the
Yeah.
next thing?
So the next thing was there's some new addiction studies that have come out, and
Okay.
one thing that's really big in addiction studies now, and even since 1995, is studying twins, because
Right.
when you have identical twins or monozygotic twins, it means that they came from the same cell. So
There goes them Rollins words.
Yeah.
Monozygotic.
But yeah, so they came from the same cell, and they share
Mhm.
100% of their DNA.
Right.
And all the genes that are activated are going to be activated in both twins, and this is why they have the same things like eye color and hair, and
Right.
so all the genes, and especially if they're looking at the addiction genes, all of them are going to be turned on the same.
Okay.
So what they found was that they did a study of they had twins, and 45 years old was the average age, and they found that ages of let me see, I have it in my notes. they have 18 to 25 and 26 to 33 are the ages that addiction issues and alcoholism popped up for the first time or were very serious in the identical twins. And the fraternal twins, which are non-identical, they were significantly less. So if one twin that was not identical became addicted to a substance, then the other one had a much lower chance of becoming addicted than the identical.
So the outcome was.
Yeah, the outcome was that there are a lot of genetic factors there still, and this one said 80% genetic factors in terms of addiction.
Right.
So it's definitely there.
Here's the funny thing about these kinds of research.
Yeah.
If you're at home and you're going, no duh, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like in your head you're thinking, well, why would anyone spend money on this research when it's so damn obvious?
Yeah.
I'm going to give you an example. I remember somewhere in the 90s, and I don't know when, and I'm sure we could probably Google it and find out. But I remember somewhere in the 90s, while I'm already working in the field, that all of a sudden, a story came across just like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's big news.
Yeah.
Do you know what the headline was?
What's that?
Cocaine is addictive.
Are you kidding me?
That was the headline. Cocaine is addictive.
Wow. Who knew?
And I can just see somebody like this going, what? For real? For real? Oh, I just thought I kept on wanting to come back for more.
Oh my gosh.
I just thought never mind. I'm gonna go real bad. Really?
Yeah,
I knew.
Common sense.
At first I didn't know, but there came a time where, when it was speaking to me and telling me to come back, when I thought I was done,
you weren't done.
Yeah.
You're done when it's done with you.
I kept on saying, I'm gonna go to sleep. Then you go to bed and it goes, really? You want to go to sleep? Come play with me. Come play with me. Come play with me. Next thing you know, you're back up. It's that kind of sleep where you close your eyes and then your eyes just pop right open. But anyway, can you believe that? Mid-90s. Cocaine is addictive. So, twin studies, you may be out there going, wow, of course this is a factor. But we need the research to back up our theories and hypotheses.
Yeah.
And so you do require people to spend money on some of this stuff, so then you're able to back it up with fact, things that can be provable and things that can be replicated in a research project, and that's why they're coming up with this. So plus a lot of the twin studies, and you know this, have been from Germany back in the day when they were doing their deals, and there was so much crooked stuff going on back at that time period in the 40s, and coming out of Germany with twin studies. It was like, whoa, we don't know what we're looking at, for real.
Exactly. That wasn't, I'm sure they didn't use the proper techniques.
You don't think?
No.
You don't think that in the 30s and the 40s that Germany was using proper technique?
No.
Some ethical issues there.
You think?
But there's been
just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
There's been hundreds of twin studies that I've seen just since the year 2000 that have pretty much shown the same thing, and it's just going to show that there's a huge genetic component of this addiction. And when people say no, it's not a disease, it's like, well, then why do all identical twins do the same drug of abuse, even if they're in different environments?
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you're saying they're finding out that they even if they're living separately,
exactly,
they're getting into the same drugs.
Yep. Because the average age is like 45 in these studies, and you have to think that two 45-year-old men usually aren't living together. So yeah, so they're going to be in different homes living. Yeah. Well.
In today's day and age.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with it.
No. But the question.
But if they're brothers, there might be still.
Yeah,
is there still something wrong with it if they're brothers?
No, there is.
At 45?
Yeah. This is 2017.
Yeah, I would say you probably need to start your life there, Brian.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Maybe in 2027, that's okay.
Yeah.
Right now, that's still an issue. That's still an issue.
The question I would have though is even if they're in their 40s or whatever, one could argue that it was still environmental because they were brought up the same way then. So I'd be interested to see if there's any twins that were maybe separated.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
No, they were separated early on.
Not. Most of the twins that were separated early on, no.
And who's separating them? How cool is this?
Germany.
who's saying, hey, we need you as part of this research? Because I know how you can become part of research and they pay you and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Can you imagine them going to a family and say, hey,
stay away from
we know
your
you need money.
They wouldn't let you do that now.
You got twins.
Stay away from your twin.
They should have talked to one of these families with like 8 kids.
Wow.
8 tuplets and said, we just need 2 of them. Keep the other
I'm
6.
just, I'd be curious because
No, you'll never miss 2.
You're Octomom.
The Octomom, yeah.
If they grew up relatively the same though, and they didn't get separated until they were
18.
I don't know, 18 or 19.
That'd be different,
And they
right?
still have 18 years worth of essentially the same kind of upbringing and the
That's
same
true.
experiences.
18
Yeah.
years.
So then I would
18
still,
years.
I don't think it could be definitively said genetics or environment at that point.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they definitely do have a lot of upbringing together. I guess it's the questionnaire that they're gonna be involved in that gets all this data.
Right.
Kind of says that it asks them about their family history, and it's
Right.
if you didn't use drugs to up to 18 years old, it's like once you separate and go your separate ways, then if one finds an addictive drug and the other one
Right.
uses it, then that's just a correlation. But it's not
Right.
saying
Right.
that the upbringing isn't part of it too.
Well, see, the part of that kind of interests me
Mm-hmm.
is the fact if they were really, truly, like Trinity said, separated very young, and they're
Yeah.
twins, and they both get into the same drug. 'Cause that, you
That
know,
would be-
as
that would
much
be
as I believe in the disease of addiction, I really find it hard to believe that you would get into the same drugs. But if you would, that's really,
That's freaky.
that's pretty
Yeah.
precise.
I don't-
Because I always look at the actual drug you get into as more environmental.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
No, I think so.
Like what
too.
you have access to.
Yeah.
But
No, I think if
Wow.
my prediction would be if they did something like that, which would be
Right.
crazy. Like I can't
Right.
imagine that ever happening. But I would imagine that if one twin gets addicted to any substance, the other one would most likely become addicted to
Right.
something too.
right. Maybe that's why my brother didn't have a problem. I
Well,
took it all.
You didn't have the same.
I
you
took
didn't
it
have
all.
the same DNA.
No, but I took it all. You know what I mean?
Does it work like that?
I don't know. Maybe with non-fraternal, not even twins, just brothers or sisters.
Well,
There's always one bad one good one,
Yeah, that's true.
right?
Well, there's 4 in my family, so there's one bad
There's
one
4?
and 3 good ones. But
Oh, jeez. Well, that
So-
would be me.
No, but the interesting thing with twin studies is that it's when you have the identical twins, they share the same DNA, but when you have the non-identical twins, it's the same as you and your brother. Like they don't.
Right.
It's not.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Other than, all the environmental is the same if they're raised in the house.
Yeah.
Because, the family is in the same position in life.
Yep.
Oddly enough,
Would you?
I'm not going to out anybody here,
Uh-oh.
but I do know somebody that has twins,
Okay.
and I happen to know there were let's just say issues.
Well, they were asked to sell the twins to a research project?
No,
Oh.
but I do know there was usage
Oh.
issues.
Oh, tell
So
us.
I just
tell us.
text message right now to find out if both
Great.
of them or just one.
And what was the?
I'm waiting to hear back, but
Well, I want to know the result now.
well, I'm waiting.
God, we should call.
Well, I
I'm building up the
This is
suspense.
really
No, I'm
out
not
there. This is
trying-
really out there.
No, sir. I'm not going to be that guy.
I'm not into that either. No, we all know that. All right. So while he's waiting for the results of the twins,
Yeah.
and one of them is an addict, you're saying?
I know for a fact one was. I'm just trying
Okay.
to find out if it was both or just one.
Okay. All right. We get the details. We want to know
Both.
ages. Both.
Yeah.
That was the result.
Wow. Same drug?
Hold on.
Are you talking to the mom or the father? You can't say?
I'm not going to say because
Okay.
I don't want to.
All right. Are you talking to? How
I'm
do
talking to somebody who's related who knows.
Okay. All right. What can I ask him? I don't know. Blame them. See how they take it. Say the research says it's all your fault.
Yeah, right.
No,
Wow.
I'm kidding. All
What,
right.
what I would like to see though is some further studies that go into that, and when these identical twins get into recovery, I would
Yeah.
like to see how that's dependent on each other. Like if they have a higher likelihood of achieving long-term sobriety.
Excellent secondary study.
Yeah. Get that going
Secondary
at all
endpoints.
once.
I like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I asked it was
Write
the
that
same
down.
drug.
Talk
They
to the
said at
university.
times.
What was that?
I said it wasn't the same drug, and they said at times. So apparently they both had one particular drug in common, but they also both experimented with other stuff.
Yeah. Wow.
Basically, it sounds like they both had maybe this allele or receptor that was deficient, and
Right.
not necessarily deficient, but
Right.
the same version of it.
Yeah.
Low dopamine.
Yeah. I wish they would have checked my dopamine when they did my blood test the other day. I wish they could test you like that instead of using spinal fluid or something.
Someday.
All they did is test all the other. All I know is I'm low in everything and high in everything. It's ridiculous, Trinity.
Sure.
How else do you get D? I know it's sidetracked. How else do I get D other than like supplements?
Vitamin D?
Yeah.
Oh,
Sunlight.
Sunlight.
That's what my wife said.
Well, actually, the problem though is
She
as you
wins.
start- as you-
Dana wins again. Oh, that's shocker.
as you start
Shocker.
to,
Dana's right.
Well, you have
She's
some
always
foods,
right.
Some foods are fortified with it, obviously. There is supplementation. you
Yeah,
can take.
she's giving it to me.
The problem with that though is it's fat soluble, so
Yeah.
you can actually have
Great.
toxic symptoms of that. It just means when you don't pee it out. So if you have too much, you can have toxic symptoms. However, the dosage that they've always required, they've found out that it was much lower than what the dosage
Tell
could
me to
be.
take 5,000 IUs, man.
That's what I'm saying. They used to think it was like, this is the maximum, and they're finding out that the maximum they gave is way low.
Yeah, I'm pretty low. I'm
higher.
at 16 or so.
But the problem is, as you age, you actually lose your ability to turn sunlight into vitamin D.
Oh.
So that's why
That's my
vitamin D
problem.
supplementation is called for.
I'm not able to turn sunlight into... I am sunshine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't absorb it. I am it.
But there's a ton of stuff that's fortified with it now.
But me and Trinity would actually get our vitamin D easier in the sun since we have lighter skin, which is kind of interesting.
I need to get more of that then.
Yeah.
You know.
Just walk around with your shirt off everywhere.
Yeah, that'd
Okay.
be a scary sight.
All right, I got a little bit more information because the questions that I asked, I said, was the
Okay.
same drug?
All right.
The answer was at times.
Okay.
The next one was, did they both do recovery and were they both successful?
Okay.
I'm trying to speak in layman terms because the person I'm
Yeah.
asking isn't really an addictions professional.
Okay.
And then the answer was no. One of them was hospitalized from a nervous breakdown,
Mm-hmm.
and the other one went cold turkey. One does medical marijuana, and the other one does psychiatric medicine.
Okay.
So,
Are they both successful doing that?
I'm waiting for that one.
Okay.
But this is a play-by-play here.
We are adding them to the research project.
Yes, I'm
They are
putting
part of
them
the Barrett project.
in. Yes.
You guys can get your names on it. Don't worry.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, Trinity definitely.
We'll get like a
He's
byline.
contributing. Trinity's contributing. So it's Barrett Phillips research.
What
Whoa. Whoa.
There it
What
was.
was
You know
that?
that? I don't know.
God,
But are we being good?
higher power.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, what
All
was
right.
that?
Jams is working.
I want to hear that again.
Got it.
Toot, toot, toot.
That was funny.
I know.
Wait. Captain's talking to me, but I don't know what he's saying.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. For all that don't know, here, put your head right there real quick. That's our
No,
producer,
that
Captain
doesn't
Chris,
look right.
there.
That doesn't
Put
look
your
right.
face in there. There you go.
Yeah.
Producer Captain Chris Hill. All right. So it's just going to tell me when, right?
No.
No?
I'll come and tell you.
You're going to come tell me. All right. We're just having a
Can't
little
go-
bit of issues on our
Yeah.
screen. That's all. So on the screen, as long as he tells me when, I'm good. All right. So anyway, he tried to fix the screen. Something's going on with it. We got so many screens here.
Yeah, right.
You guys can't see it, but I got 1, 2, 3, 4 that I'm looking at.
I got one right
I
in front of
two
me, that's
right
all.
here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
one, two.
You guys have 2 right there.
Oh.
Like tons of screens. Oh, and this one. This is a security camera. I can see who's like pulling up.
And then you're live.
And then the live, yeah, and then that one. So anyway,
Screen's galore. You
right,
get a
so-
screen. You get a screen. Everybody gets a screen.
so that's a great study. All right, so what next, Robbie? Give us something else.
Well, I mean, the next thing was it was the weird thing, the stigma-free community in
Oh,
New Jersey.
What is that?
Yeah, it's I don't know. We need to get in contact with this one, but she owns her own nonprofit, so it's kind of weird.
No, I don't have a problem with that. I'm just afraid to contact somebody who's kind of just a little bit out there.
Well,
I like characters.
When he
Yeah.
first brought it up, man, maybe it's my scientific mind.
Yeah.
I immediately started shooting holes.
Tr- Perfect. Trinity,
Sure.
please set it up. Trinity, can you tell us exactly the way he brought that up to us? Just tell us the way he said
The way
it.
he said it?
The way he said it that made us both, both our ears went, what?
Oh, he said, well, apparently there's a community up in New Jersey. The whole community is stigma-free.
Did you hear that? Say that again, Trinity, because I think they missed that. Say it again.
He said that there's a community up in New Jersey
Right.
that the whole community is stigma-free.
Did you hear that? Stigma-free community. So he said, there's a stigma-free community out there. So of course we're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
A stigma-free community.
Well,
By the way, you got Katie saying hi to you for some reason. You already got a fan club already.
Yeah,
This guy.
that's my girlfriend.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah,
Oh, well, no wonder.
I told her to tune
Well,
in.
hi,
so-
Katie. How you doing? I was gonna say, man, you put an intern in one day, and it's like,
Right.
it's like already, it's
Wait,
like
hey,
2 days,
weeks.
2 days,
2 weeks.
Sorry,
Come on.
sorry. My apologies.
Wow. Look at he's already catching attitudes and stuff.
Already got the ego bump,
You're gonna
man.
fit in just fine.
Dude, yeah, you turned into radio real quick. It's already got the radio attitude.
But yeah, no, my immediate instinct was like, hold on.
Yeah.
Like, how can you say that your place is stigma-free? Like,
Stigma-free.
that's such a subjective kind of thing, and it's all probably relying upon self-reporting and everything else. I was like, hold on.
Yeah.
Well, it instantly sounds to me like those safe spaces.
Yeah.
And look, I'm not trying to start an argument with anybody that's into the safe space. I realize that some areas need it. I
Sure.
realize there's some really jerk-offs out there that you have to, like, guard yourself from. I know there's bullies and there's people like that. I get it. But when you say stigma-free zone or stigma-free space,
Yeah.
I'm just imagining, like, how do you get booted out? Like, if you know what I mean?
You call someone a bad name, you're out of here.
Yeah. You know, hey, stop being a dope fiend. You're out.
Yeah.
Right?
Strike one.
It's like, you know, it's important. Oh, you fixed it. Way to go, Captain. Thank you very much. Man, that's why he's the best producer in radio.
There you go.
Well,
By the way, I've known Captain since 1993. We've been at the same station since 1993.
He's the best producer I've ever had.
me too.
Right. So anyway,
All right, I can rephrase that though for anyone who's like confused about this whole stigma thing.
yeah, please.
All right, so this is in Virgin County. It's not like a community. It's a
Right.
county
It's
in
a
New
county.
Jersey. And there's this woman who
Hey, Darian.
Mary Ann something, and her
Uzi.
Mary Ann Uzi. Yeah, good Trinity.
See, now we're giving her
a shout out.
a shout out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, but
Remember
basically-
last time you did this, you get phone calls from somebody all the time because you did that.
Sorry.
Just remember what happened. I'm not going to say the name
Alright.
because he who does not say the name does not worry about getting those phone calls.
Alright.
But remember, you have an allele now, like an extra appendage attached to you
Okay.
because of something like this. So go ahead.
Okay,
Talk
so
about-
basically this woman had a brother who died from the disease of addiction, and she started this initiative in New Jersey, and the program is to reduce the stigma associated with mental illness, and the people who join the stigma-free initiative basically will educate residents about the disease of mental illness, raise awareness of mental illnesses, and also
Dance in public.
What did you just say?
they're supposed to, I don't know if they get like a packet or a pamphlet. We need to talk to this woman because it's so
I'm
broad.
afraid to talk to her
I'll talk
because
to her.
here's the. Let me. I'm gonna. Look. We got to educate you right, Mr. Intern.
There you go.
We got to educate you right. Let me tell you something about when you talk to somebody
Mm-hmm.
that may be just a little off edge. And I'm not saying this person is. This might be
Yeah.
a very normal person.
Maybe.
But this is why usually it takes me 6 months to a year to really connect with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Trinity? It took Trinity and I a year. And I'm not saying I'm perfect at doing this.
Yeah.
The thing is, I give it a little time
Mm-hmm.
because what if, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if? Because once you're connected with them, good luck, brother. And if it's a kooky person,
Yeah.
and some of these people in our industry, or in the industry of health, are helping somebody, sometimes they're a little like, woo. And I get it. They're
Yeah.
loving, great people. I love them to
I
death.
think they prefer the term eccentric.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes they're a little eccentric.
Yeah.
Good. And then, you're just on their mind every 5 seconds.
Yeah. Well, you don't even have to get like super connected. You can just like ask her to call in maybe and like describe the stigma-free community and her idea. I could try to reach out, but
We're going to put you on it, brother.
You can,
All right.
you can bet.
You do it.
Can bet
You
it
do
for-
it.
yeah.
You're going to be the one that contacts her and find out what does stigma-free, because I love the concept. I got to
No,
admit.
it's a great concept. I
Yeah.
just don't know
So
how
I
you-
want to be a fan. I want to
Facilitate.
tell her she's awesome
Yeah.
and she came up with a great idea. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
But when you read that, I didn't hear anything that would. How do you identify a stigma-free community?
Yeah.
Well, and not only that, but
And it's
how
not
do
even an organization yet.
How do they measure success? Like, how do they know if it's working?
I don't know.
That's
Yeah.
what-
All there is an initiative online.
She had me at stigma-free. I'll be honest with you. She had me at stigma-free.
Yeah, I love the fact though that stigma is now being discussed. It seems to be that seems to be the trend this year.
Yeah.
Because there's a couple other organizations that we've spoken
Right.
to, and then a little foreshadowing here. Our foundation is going to come up with something soon. Pay attention.
Right.
Relating to stigma. So it seems like that's the trendy thing to do this year, which I like.
Right.
I like the fact that we're kind of going that route.
Yes.
But to call yourself a stigma.
See, sextuplets. Sorry to break the news. Look, right on TV. Sextuplets.
Wow.
We could have done research on at least 2 of them.
Hello.
They need to do research right now. They
Yeah.
need to
Contact them. All
Give us-
6 of
give
them.
us 2 of your babies.
Let's follow them just in case. Because if they can prove that all 6 of them become addicts, oof.
Give us 2 of
If
your
we take
babies.
all 6 and put them in 6 different locations,
Just separate them all right now.
separate them all right now.
Just not to Germany.
Yeah.
No, not the Germany.
I'm sorry. Look, Germany's awesome now.
1930s Germany.
I love Germany. I love Germany. I've lived in Germany. I love it. Just after,
the Fuhrer.
well, after I was there in the 70s. So obviously from the 70s on, I can attest that it's a very good place.
Sure.
I'm not going to say anything about 40s because Wasn't around.
All right.
You don't have
Go
to.
back.
There's a
Go
lot of
back to what
history.
you were saying. I'm sorry, I distracted you because of sextuplets.
Oh, okay. So there's, if you've ever heard of like the text and drive thing, where you take a pledge not to text and drive.
Yeah.
It's the stigma free idea is kind of like that. Yeah. There's online why does being stigma free matter, and then there's a button that you click and it says take the pledge. So
Oh, I'm serious if there's a button involved.
if I click on take the pledge,
That's what it is. It's a button.
yeah. Okay, then I enter all my information, my gender. I don't have to enter that. My city, zip code.
Because it doesn't matter anymore.
It doesn't. No.
No.
I'm not gonna.
Don't worry about it.
I'm not gonna give my gender out on Facebook Live. That's just ridiculous.
Not that they don't. Well, they really don't know anymore.
Don't assume. I
Yeah, don't assume anymore.
You can't.
Actually, you know that kind of in relation to that in China now. That's like the rage is genderless.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, I just watched the thing. There's a boy band coming out.
Oh,
They're
wow.
all girls.
They're called genderless.
No, it's some weird ADFC something.
I have no issue with anybody that wants to identify as anything. I just want to let you know one thing, though. I am proud and happy to be a man. I do like that manhood thing.
True that.
I like manhood and everything that comes with being one.
Viralness.
You know what I mean? I'll take every advantage I have. I have no issue
Yeah.
with it. Thank you very much.
Viralness agrees with me.
I live with all women. Trust me. I'm staying in my manhood.
Yes.
I'm in my territory right here.
Yes.
I got my man cave and everything.
I'm good.
Don't touch it. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry. I said that, I'm keeping my hairy legs and all.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So basically, there's a button that you push.
Yeah, and then
What?
you agree to be stigma free. So
I like that. At least they
I
do
mean-
something.
yeah. It's,
Alright.
Do they define stigma free?
Yeah, they do. They define the campaign. It says it's NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness's effort to end stigma and create hope for those affected by mental illness. They're kind of encompassing addiction in this, I assume, because the woman's brother.
Wait, how
That's
did
right.
NAMI get involved? Because NAMI is an organization.
Yeah.
NAMI is a real
So
organization.
yeah, so the woman is the one who got this started through NAMI.
Okay, well, hey, she just got a little credibility all of a sudden.
Now it's
Yeah.
starting.
Well, now we're listening. See? The credibility starts.
Yeah, and this is, and I
Okay.
guess, I don't know if everyone in this community, there were just a lot of officials that
Okay,
made
I
it to
like
this
it.
county in New Jersey, and they all must have taken the pledge and danced around.
It's to me, well, I saw the age group
Mm-hmm.
and the people that were dancing around, and none of them probably have ever used a substance. I think it's safe to say that a lot of the people that I saw in that picture
Yeah.
were like 13.
Yep.
So, to me, it reminds me of taking the pledge
The dare.
for like the virginity kind of pledge,
Oh, yeah.
The
You know,
purity rings. and
the
stuff.
purity rings,
Yeah.
which is fine. Do it. Anything that can help you get
Yeah,
one
except
day
for the-
further.
The study came out and showed that it didn't work. But other
It
than
still
that,
feels good as a parent to hear it.
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, lie to me. Come on.
For sure.
I was saying, no, my kids didn't do it. But anyway, I mean, it's good that they at least do it.
Yeah.
Right? That's cool. Okay. All right, at least there's some action behind it.
Yeah, and it's planting in the minds of the young ones
Absolutely.
now that stigma's really detrimental to people out there that are suffering. So.
Look,
Okay, hold
yeah,
on. I got a question.
because the manipulation is real.
I'm just gonna I'm gonna throw out a little bit of devil's
boy.
advocate here.
Oh boy, here you go.
So, realistically speaking, in today's world, maybe I'm wrong, and by all means, I'm sure one of you guys will correct me if I am. But do we really think it's the millennial generation that needs to be corrected on the stigma? Like,
Oh God, no.
aren't they the ones
Oh,
that
God,
are
no.
very anti-stigma?
Yeah.
So aren't
Yeah.
the ones that we should be approaching are the older generation that still are keeping the stigmas that have been around for decades?
I think you're right.
I think
So
you're 100%.
I guess I don't understand the need to have the stigma-free stuff in like high schools and things, and even colleges.
Well,
to be honest with you.
You know what? Because there are still susceptibility. Because we really do have the ability and potential to eradicate a large amount of bullying and stigma-producing individuals because of what you just said.
Okay.
There's still a lot of old-timers that are still, teaching their
Passing it
kids.
on.
Yeah, they're still
Sure.
passing it on. And remember, those things get validated by one life experience.
Sure.
If you have one life experience with somebody different than you, you tend to just generalize that whole grouping,
Right.
especially if you're linked to people who are saying it's because of that happened, right? So the fact that they're going to young people just gives you another piece of armament that young person can use against their upbringing, because environmental factors are really strong. They just
So
really
then-
are.
So
Yeah.
then, wouldn't it be better suited, I guess, in some of the more rural communities?
Are you trying to say that rural people tend to be more?
I'm saying rural people, rural children in rural communities could potentially have less access to the wide spectrum of individuals that we have.
That's the truth.
So, for instance, you know, if growing up here in Orlando myself, right? I'm from
Right.
Montana.
Right.
So if I would have stayed in Montana,
Right.
as I was telling you guys earlier, thanks to our
You'd be
lovely-
body slamming
yeah.
reporters right now.
But if I stayed there, I would be surrounded with
Right.
mostly white individuals with a few Indian people scattered throughout.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Whereas-
By the way, on a side note, we're gonna send you to the next press conference that guy does, and see if he body slams you.
Sure. But when I came down here to Florida, like I saw my first black person in the airports here in Orlando as a little kid. And
Wow.
so growing up in Orlando and going to school, I was exposed to a lot more, regardless of what my mom may or may not have said.
Right.
And granted, I hadn't been put out there. My mom didn't have anything racist to say.
Right.
But my point being, I've met a lot of people who are even my age, but because they grew up in the same atmosphere that I
Right.
did, that even though their parents might have been, you know, prejudiced towards certain races or what have you, it never really impacted the kids because when they went to school, they were surrounded by so many of them.
Yeah.
So what I would say
Right.
is those types of programs might be better suited for
Right.
a more rural area.
Well, the hood is no different.
Yeah, exactly.
The inner city is no different, and in some cases, the suburbs are no different. In some cases, there's kids in suburbs that have never been around other kind of people. There's people in the inner cities that have never been around other kind of people. There's people in certain hood situations, which I think you called the ghetto the other day, which I thought that was odd. But
That's where I'm from, man. You're
ghetto.
The ghetto.
Anyway, the hood also, they're not interacting with others either.
Right.
Which is why there's a lot of people in those situations that talk about rich people, like they're talking about another color, right, or another culture. And so there's all kinds of, everybody's in their own little bubble in reality.
Sure.
There's as much of a melting pot as the United States is.
Right.
People don't melt as much as they think. That's what I like what you said about the millennials. Who said it? You said it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Trinity.
I did.
but the Trinity did. So the millennials tend to want to do that. They want to melt more than anybody ever has. This
Yeah.
generation does want to melt.
Well, I
But-
also I find that in certain plights that they care more about than others, though.
Well, here's the thing about the melting. I'm going to call them the melting generation. The melting generation will melt as long as you agree with them.
Yeah, exactly.
Because when you don't agree with them, they just all snicker and look at you like you're an idiot, and they all do this to their beards.
Well, that's actually, it's funny because I have my own bit of news that I was watching last night.
Okay.
There's a form of legislature that's now being brought to the House
Wow.
for states, and I think the first one is Wisconsin. They're the ones doing it. Well, not the first, I guess, but among the first. And apparently, it's a new bill that they're trying to put out to squash this campus. I don't know what you call it. Just the back and forth that's happening.
Is that don't allow anybody speak?
Yeah,
If
yeah.
they're not expressing your viewpoint, don't
so-
let them on your campus.
So basically, what's happening is there's certain, like Berkeley, for instance, is a good
Oh,
example.
jeez.
They didn't want people to show up there, so what they've been doing is rioting and everything else.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Well, there was a situation, I think it was Wisconsin, where a gentleman who was a right-wing author came to speak, and what was happening, the people in the crowd were just they were standing in front of the stage with their backs towards him and just speaking really loud and making a lot of noise so nobody in the audience would hear him.
Wow.
So now they're trying to put a bill through the state legislature stating that essentially you can be punished or removed from the university. Some sort of consequence is going to take place if you're limiting somebody else's free speech.
Right.
And
Good.
Well,
Good.
the debate was, well, whose free speech are we going to protect? The person who's saying the bad things, or the person who wants to protest the person saying the bad things?
Whoever's event it is.
Yeah. Whoever's getting paid to speak.
Yeah. Whoever's, in other words, if the event is created for you to speak, you should be able to speak.
Right.
Let them speak. You create your own event. You want to say something contrary? Create your own event. Here's how you defeat ridiculous people. Let them talk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It didn't. Well,
Just-
never mind. It didn't affect a certain somebody.
Nobody still let them talk. Let them talk.
Sure.
Let them talk. Just back away and let it happen. Because if not, all you're doing is playing ping pong. And people like me that really get frustrated with people that constantly interrupt and constantly not let someone go, start going to that person. Because now you're bullying them.
Yeah.
Let's take that person. Let's say his name out loud, Trump. So now I feel that people bully him all the time. I think he's getting bullied all the time. You're making me into a Trump fan. And you know what I mean? It's
See, I would
because
disagree with that assessment,
let him.
though.
I'm just telling you how it
He
is.
doesn't talk all the time.
No,
He has press
no.
conferences, he releases
Oh,
things.
come on. Let people that you find ridiculous go. Let them talk. If they're ridiculous, it'll be found out. But you're not going to create them to be ridiculous just by keep on tag.
Wait,
Because
are you gonna agree then with his statement that
No,
he
no.
made the other day? How nobody's been as mean to him, or as mean to any other politician as him?
in my lifetime, it's true,
Really?
and it's probably in his lifetime, it's true too.
Nelson Mandela was in prison for like forever.
He wasn't our president. When was
No, but
Nelson Mandela our
He
president?
said any politician. Well,
I don't even.
JFK was shot.
But he wasn't in my lifetime. And being shot doesn't make you hated. You know.
I would much rather you argue with me and call me bad names than shoot me.
Well, his presidency's not over. If the type of security we have today compared to the type of security Trump has, he would have already been shot. If you don't think there's been attempts on his life, you're crazy.
Just saying, man. I wouldn't sit there and try to say that I've been treated.
But I'm not here to
anybody.
defend the guy. Here's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if someone comes to your campus, I don't care if it's the KKK, let them speak.
Sure.
If someone's hating, if someone's saying something ridiculous, let them speak, because it's freedom of speech that's so vital. You need to have people to the left, to the right, all parts of the spectrum, because there's parts of what they say that's important. And when you listen to somebody, then you know how to.
Sure.
You need to understand them,
Yeah.
because maybe by understanding each other, you can come to some sort of agreement. But by they're talking and you're talking and they're talking and you're talking and they're talking and you're talking and nobody's listening, you can never come to an understanding because nobody's listening.
Yeah.
Right.
What they have to say may sound ridiculous to you, but something of what they say has value.
Sure.
Both sides have value to what they're saying.
Yeah.
You just may not like the way they say it. You may not like the color of their skin that it's expressing it. You might not like their inflection. You might not like their accent. You might not like their crowd. But they're saying it and they have a following. And if there's a following, that's people that should be heard. And you should understand that. Different than you? Fine. That's what America's all about.
Right.
I don't want to live in a place where everybody's thinking like me and acting like me.
No.
Sure.
I love living in a place where somebody can be completely ridiculous and they have a little following of ridiculousness.
Sure.
That's great, because that means when I'm being ridiculous, I'm allowed to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because where does it stop then?
Well, and
You know what I
that's,
mean? When does it end that, oh, that's not allowed to be said, or that's too outrageous, or that's too abusive, or that's too bullyish, or that's too this, or that's too... Well, then how... You know, when I'm joking around, that could be like, oh, that was bad. You know, what was that one thing that you sent out? Was it you sent that?
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't post it, but I sent it to
That
you
was the
personally.
that was the funniest
It was
thing.
amazing. I loved it.
That was the funniest thing, because that was so dead on.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's actually the debate, though, is and first off, let me say that I definitely am very anti-censorship. I don't like that. I think it's a very slippery slope. But the debate that's being had at the moment is the people who are trying to protest are saying, you know, that's great. They're allowed to speak. They're allowed to do whatever. But I should be allowed to also exercise my First Amendment right and protest, which I don't disagree with.
Protest is fine.
Yeah. Well, that's their form of protesting, is speaking louder or whatever. My problem with it is do it before or after the event. Allow the person to speak, but you don't have to stand there in front of the guy while he's trying to speak
Yeah.
and talk over him.
It's rude.
Well, you get it. Everything should be done with respect.
Yeah.
First of all, but again, a protest can be done many different ways. But
Sure.
protesting by being foolish or aggressive or fighting, you first of all, I would then say most of the people that start getting involved with that have no idea of the real issues involved. They just like
Yeah.
the problem and the violence.
Yeah.
And attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you something. If you would have caught me at a certain age, and it was like, hey, we're all going to go and we're just hell yeah,
Yeah, I'll go tear some stuff up.
Let's
I
do
mean,
it.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
protest.
let's go get aggressive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas, you know, the people like my niece who loves protesting, she's there, man. You know, I have a niece, you know, Sophia. She is like on issues. She's very well educated on issues. Speaks very well about issues. I may not always agree on her issues because they're very extreme, but she has a right to protest.
Sure.
But she's not a violent person. She's not going to go disrespect you. She's going to listen to you, and she's going to then say her point.
Right.
Right? That's okay.
Yeah.
But when you go there to shut somebody up and silence somebody, that's not how you silence
No,
them.
I agree. And the other thing that I just don't like the trend, and you kind of touched on it, is I don't like the trend nowadays, and I think the pendulum has swung too far. Meaning, you know, it used to be kind of like a good old boy thing where you're not allowed to say or do anything that we don't like, and,
Right.
and we'll bully you, and it was all about viralness and whatnot.
Right.
And then the pendulum swung way too far, so where now there's a safe place for everything, and everything is offending somebody. You can't say anything now. And so I like somewhere in the middle, obviously. But this idea that we should never have to hear anything we don't like,
Right.
I don't like that concept.
How do you grow as an individual
Exactly.
if you don't hear concepts that are foreign to you and find some little bit of truth in it?
And, yeah, I don't
Well,
know.
I mean, just take our industry. Nobody would ever get clean if they didn't have to listen to something they didn't like.
Exactly.
Right.
Because
Right.
you've been telling them, hey, you can't use this substance anymore, and this, that, and the other. They don't like that.
Yeah, that's not comfortable.
Of course not.
No.
The therapy in general, just the whole therapy industry would cease to exist.
Yeah.
No, I think, and I'm not looking to create a safe space for addicts. You know, people in recovery. What I'm looking to do is just create an opportunity for them to understand that just because they're addicted to something doesn't mean they're dumb, idiotic, you know, and every other negative statement that's happening already in their head.
Yeah.
Just because you have a mental illness doesn't mean that you're stuck with that for the rest of your life and you can't grow from it and live a good life. It doesn't mean because you're sad and depressed today that you're going to be sad and depressed tomorrow. It doesn't mean that you're going to feel hopeless for the rest of your life. It doesn't mean that life isn't going to go good for you, that you're always going to have bad luck, and that things are always going to go poorly for you, and nobody's ever going to love you, and you're never going to outgrow this reputation that you currently have. All of that is untrue.
Well, and that's why I think.
And those are the statements in the head, and those, what I'm saying is you can't create a society that's not going to say that, but we need to create at least a society that allows us to say the opposite and figure out a way to promote it a little bit more.
Well, that's where the education comes into play. I mean, for me, instead of trying to create a safe space around a particular topic,
Right.
instead you create education around a particular topic, and the safe space automatically
That's it.
comes by proxy.
That's it.
Because oftentimes what people are saying about it is just their own ignorance, is what,
Right.
what it really is.
Yeah.
Because I don't think a lot of people really have any malintent if they're
Correct.
trying to
Correct.
to degrade somebody or talk about them. It's just their own judgments that they,
Right.
based upon their own experiences that they have. But most people, not all, but most people,
Right.
when they're educated, they understand that they're wrong.
Right.
They cease to do that to other people.
I'm going to give you a perfect example of listening of something that I say put your money where your mouth is. Right now, I'm going to have to take a political issue to kind of explain it
Here we
because
go.
it was a big one.
Here
Well,
we
it was a
go.
big one because if you remember, and because we mentioned Trump earlier, when you remember Trump when he said the thing about Mexicans and when he said the thing about the wall initially, I reacted much like every other Mexican American like me did. I was very offended, very upset, didn't like it. Said this guy just went off the deep end. Very upset with it, and could have stayed that way. I could have just stayed that way and never listened. But I took my own advice and I just listened. I listened.
Which part did you not like again? Can you be specific?
I didn't-
putting
I
up the
didn't-
wall
I
or
didn't-
the racists
I didn't-
or the rapists and stuff like that.
That part. I didn't like the way I interpreted the statements. I took it in a very broad stroke, like that he was just calling all Mexicans a certain way.
Okay.
As I listened to him in further conversations, and then also remembered that I did watch this guy on television for many years, and I knew he was a cocky something, but he was entertaining, and that's how I took him. I didn't take him that seriously,
Right.
but now I have to take him seriously, right?
Sure.
So I started listening and thinking back and going, well, I never seen anything racist from him. And I've seen him a lot of times interact with different, and I never saw anything overt. And you can pick up on stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then I'm listening and I'm hearing him re-explain it. And remembering, and then I don't put him on a pedestal. First of all, I don't put him on a pedestal, even though everybody says, well, yeah, but in that position you have to be. I get that. But I got to put him here so I can understand him before I put him up here. So I put him here, and I realized I've been in a lot of conversations with a lot of people that I liked that have said some pretty ridiculous things about Mexicans. And said pretty ridiculous things about other people. Yet I like them for other reasons. And then that was like, oh, God. But I had to understand why they thought that way, right?
Right.
Well, then as I heard the explanation of we're talking about illegal activity, like, now I'm getting it. I'm like, I get what you're saying. Because if I wasn't anything to do with Mexican, I would 100% understand when you say we have to protect ourselves from people that are here illegally doing something and then allowed to commit more crime and then safe from being sent away just because they're here. And I'm thinking, well, I wouldn't like that with any other culture.
Right.
I just wouldn't. The reason I'm reacting the way I'm reacting is because I'm biased. And I'm biased in the situation. So I had to remove the bias and look at it and go, okay, so he's not after me at all. He's not after people like me at all.
Right.
Matter of fact, he's not after anybody that's here legally.
Right.
But I do get that you can't protect somebody who's committed a crime,
Sure.
ever. You just should never protect anybody. So if you take all that other stuff, plus the one thing I still don't agree is that, deporting anybody just for a DUI. I
Well,
think it should be a felony, but
the-
that's a whole different issue.
the
It's a
way
whole
they
different issue.
define
Yeah, the
crime
define
was
was
very
very
loose.
broad. It was
Yeah.
very broad, and I didn't like that. but granted, but we couldn't even get to the table
Right.
to further define it because the whole opposition was protect them all. Well, if the opposition would have listened the way I feel like I did, we would have been able to come to the table and said, how about, you're 100% right that something needs to happen. Let's make it felonies. Or let's make it, blank, whatever degree felony or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And we would have come to an agreement and boom, there would have been no riots, there would have been anything, because who wouldn't agree with that?
Right.
No one disagrees with the fact of a rapist not being held accountable for raping.
Yeah.
But because one side is saying rapist and the other guy is saying, oh, poor little Carlos. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because they're talking about totally two different individuals.
Right.
There's no conversation. The reason I'm able to understand what's happening with what he's saying is because I'm not looking at what his other side is saying. I'm listening to what he's saying. What he's saying is over here. He's talking here, but people are taking it over here. He's got some real right extremists that are taking it in a different direction.
Right.
But if you listen to what exactly he said, he's here. Then you listen to this side, and they're way over there. They're way over there, protecting the poor little mom that all she's doing is cleaning houses. It's not her fault. She's been here 20-something years, never committed a crime, never did anything wrong. I get that. I protect that person
Well,
too.
I think the problem is those people aren't being protected. Though.
So
they are being deported.
No, but actually not in the numbers. In those numbers are all skewed because we haven't been able to hear it right because they're reporting the worst case scenarios of deportation.
Of course, that's their job.
And they're reporting the worst of the worst scenarios.
Sure.
So what I'm saying is that if we were listening, and I only brought this up to talk about listening. If we were listening,
Right.
if both sides were listening, we could talk about the truth. And the facts are we do have a reduction in people coming in here illegally. And that's good for all of us, even though I'm biased in the situation. Even though I'm okay with run over. Run. Keep running. I'll hide you myself. I understand that. I may have been guilty for that in my past. I get that. Because I know the drugs aren't, look, you want to stop the drug problem, educate your doctors. You want to stop the drug problem, educate your pharmacies, your doctors,
Exactly.
and deal with our pharmaceutical industry.
Yeah. That's what's killing it. That's what's getting everyone into heroin.
That's what's getting into heroin. We're advertising heroin by putting people on pills.
Yeah.
Well,
So I get that. And he's not saying, but we can't even get to that conversation because everybody's protecting their most drastic of conversations to fight rather than listen. Listen, Linda. Listen, Linda. Remember that? I love that one. You remember that little kid? Linda, listen. Anyway, I can't get that out of my head. That little kid is so cute. Anyway, the point is that with addicts, they have something to say too, but we can't go throw it in their face.
Sure.
Hey, we're addicted and we deserve, a voice. Because then what you're going to do if we had that kind of riot, or not, that kind of walk, that says we're being oppressed. We as addicts are being oppressed. We need to go out there and march, and we need to go say something. We need to go let them know that they're oppressing us. What would happen? We'd have a bunch of people that look like Trinity, right?
Thanks, I think.
No, well, that's the average one that is probably that has had the worst hit in their life.
Sure.
Has journaled all over themselves and has found another way to identify, to get away from the way they felt as kids.
Right.
They are now in control. I'm in control of my skin. I'm in control of how to project myself. I'm in control of how I look. So it's a very drastic look.
Sure.
But most of the time that comes from a lot of pain. I'm not trying to psychoanalyze you, but a lot of times that comes from a lot of pain.
Absolutely.
So we would have a lot of them out there, being angry, instead of being loving and saying, I'm just like you.
And
All right, so a minute left.
Can't we all just get along?
Oh, can't we all just get along? Happy graduation to Dahlia. My Dahlia graduates. Tomorrow is her official graduation. Is it tomorrow? Saturday? Yes. Tomorrow's her official graduation.
Very cool.
Man, no more senior, no more high school. She's done. Anybody birthdays? Anybody's birthday? Anything?
Let me see.
Too late, man. I got 50 cents.
I don't
50,
think so.
52, 50
Not
cents.
this-
50 seconds.
But I want to know about this taco thing.
What's up?
About time for a taco. About the race
taco.
car driver that was the pole position at Indy.
Uh-huh.
He wins the pole.
Yeah.
He goes to Taco Bell to get a taco and he gets robbed.
Gets robbed.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, true story. So, Louis, go to Taco Bell and get robbed.
Wait, are you trying to...
It's those Mexicans, man.
There you are. You're up.
Mexican, hold on.
Get that, you got a microphone right there. Get on the microphone.
Hold on. No,
you got
no.
13 seconds. What are you trying to
Mexicans
say?
in daggone Indianapolis? Get out of here. Really?
There's nothing to pick.
No.
Oh,
It's,
God.
when you come in with 5 seconds left to say, all right, you can love taco. Oh, not even that. Adios, amigos. It's time for a taco. For real. You can go to Taco Bell. You can go get a real one. Remember, just eat your taco with corn tortillas. Stay away from the flour, gringos. Adios.
Okay, now was there something wrong with the? You said something about